I'm waiting for my computer to
Live.
start.
It says live.
Whoosh. Hi.
We're live. Okay.
We're live.
Max, play the good video of me.
I will try if it lets me. Hold on, I'm trying. Oh, wait, I think. Uh-oh. What just happened?
No, I don't think that we're live.
I know, but my computer just did weird things. I don't know what's happening. Okay. Okay, we're live. Let's see if we can still get the video going. Ready? Okay. We got it! It played and we're live! We did it! Holy crap!
We worked for that one, and you told Teresa that she had to introduce everybody, and she blipped off.
I know. The universe just set me up.
Oh.
Okay, let's see if I can get my thoughts together quick enough to do this. All right, welcome to Spirit Sessions. We are so happy you could join us today. We have had an interesting time trying to get live and get everything going, but we're here. We made it. We're a little late, but you know, that's live TV, right? So, and Emily, as professional as always, has just been so gracious, bearing with us as we're trying to figure this out. Thank you for hanging out with us, Emily. We're so excited to hang out with you today.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I got to catch up with you and T-Dubs a little bit because, you know, you guys are my special girls before we went live. And oh my goodness, what a beautiful testament to Rhonda, even though it's been a bit of a shit show this morning. But what a beautiful testament to Rhonda of just like how incredibly smooth and anchoring she is with this. And we miss you, Miss Rhonda.
We do so much. And again, you know, like I said, I knew if Rhonda wasn't here, we were just going to fly off into the cosmos. And I feel like it's kind of where we've been. But that's okay. We're here now. And please take a moment to share this out. Invite your friends. We're going to have an amazing show today. Emily's going to talk to us about glyphs and glyph activations. I'm very excited because I have not really had the pleasure of experiencing glyphs yet in my journey. So this is going to be a whole new thing for me. And I'm very, very excited to find out more about them and hopefully start to find some of my journey as well.
Oh,
so, yeah.
Yeah, let's set that intention for everyone out there. If you haven't experienced glyphs and stumbling onto them and understanding how to activate with them, that this transmission that you'll get today will start to magnetize that into your field. And that's how the energy works. I mean, anytime we're talking about a new topic and you as the audience get to like stumble into something new, it's a sign of the universe. It's an invitation that it's coming into your field. So I'm super excited today. Can I just start by telling a story while we're waiting for T-Dubs to come back?
Actually, can you start with telling us about you first, and then we can get into your story?
Oh, of course. I always love talking about myself.
I want to hear all about you. I know that a lot of our guests are very familiar with you, but we always love to hear your journey and how you got to where you are today and how powerful you've anchored in your truth into your reality. So yeah, share some of that with us.
Absolutely. So for those of you who are meeting me for the first time, I'm Emily Harrison, founder, director of the Akashic Academy. And I work with visionaries who are ready to tap the Akash so that they can get instantaneous downloads from Universal Mind, which help us to heal areas of our life where we get stuck. I mean, so many of us right now on the surface of the planet are here doing powerful karmic clearing work through our own lives, which means our lives look a bit like a shit show sometimes. So being able to understand from this higher perspective how we're moving in our own microcosm and how it's affecting the entirety of the planet, it's really important. And the Akash gives us that perspective. I mean, you know, as we incarnate as human, we can only hold so much perspective in our human experience. But once we learn to move our consciousness into God mind, we begin to see a totality and we begin to see and understand. And a lot of times, just knowing information, just the revelation of, oh, okay, I get it, will begin to move energy. Now, sometimes there's deeper work that we need to do, but the beautiful thing is the Akash will illuminate that as well. I've created, and I'm sure you ladies have had the experience too, of creating medicine within your Akash that helps to get things moving and where we feel energetically stuck. So the Akash is fantastic for healing and for like seeing the bigger picture. But what I really love to use the Akash for is to tap into each one of our unique genius, because I believe that we all are here with a puzzle piece, right? And we're all here to create in our highest genius. We're here to leave legacy on the planet. We're here to create masterpiece. And the Akash, when we can tap into that space, again, opening up to that level of God mind so that you can extract information about your genius and also help with the creative flow of how you embody that and how you create services, products, businesses, books here on the planet. It's just so important right now. And we know that this was like this was the tool that these greats had in their back pocket. Albert Einstein, Nikola Tesla, Steve Jobs, they all knew how to instantly go in and get higher frequency of information. And the beautiful thing is that every single human on the planet has the ability to do that. So my mission, as it's grown and expanded, has really been to help visionaries and people who are here to leave legacy find their genius in the Akash. And it's grown from teaching classes. It's where I started doing this, is where I met you two beautiful ladies, and Rhonda as well. You were some of my first students and learned to read the Akashic Records. And now the business is growing and expanding, and we're traveling into sacred vortexes. The Academy is hosting retreats. We have Bill, which you had Bill on your show, right?
And he'll be next week too.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah.
and Ruben. And so it's been really, really exciting for me to be at the helm of this journey as it's growing and expanding. And sometimes I just look, I'm like, I absolutely know that I am the avatar to show up and to do this, but there's part of me like, hang on a second, I'm just this girl from a small town in Louisiana, Missouri, growing up on the Mississippi River. So I give that to you as a gift too. Like, we all have our everyman, every woman kind of syndrome where, we feel like, yeah, I'm just so and so. And that was Jesus of Nazareth as well, right? He was at one point in time, he's just a boy kicking it in Nazareth, right? So it's really exciting to be able to empower the wisdom keepers to see themselves in these bigger roles. And I'm just so excited to be here with you girls. Since you were such a part of the beginning process, the beginning consciousness, and the evolution of this legacy coming forward, I just feel so excited every time you invite me back to be with you. So thank you so much. It's special for me to be here.
Well, thank you. It's
love
special
this.
for us too,
Yes.
very much to get to hang out with our mentor and teacher. Always.
I have a word that I found that describes the kind of catalyst that you are. And to me, it's a new word, but it's a very ancient word because this is an elf language. Elfin, I'm sure there's the right word. It's called Belandafin. They probably say it better. Belandafin. And what it means is feels like a new power within. And Emily, when you open our Akashic Records and you give us the skills to go these places, I feel Belandafin. That's the catalyst that you are. Whew.
When you shared that too, I saw that, and that's exactly how it feels to go in the Akashic Records. Absolutely.
Thank you for that. I shared that when I saw that post. I reshared it. I wasn't really even thinking of it as, hey, that gets to be me. So thank you so much. I feel like a great honor. Thank you. So good.
Yeah, that's the truth. And I've had such amazing adventures and things that I never knew that you taught us all. You opened up the whole world to me, and now I can go anywhere I want in the Akash. I have an example I want to tell you, but let's not. Let's get on with the other things. What's this?
Hanging like that? What are you talking about?
Well, let me make it as quick as possible, and then I want to learn more and more about the preparation for Lionsgate and stuff. Okay, that's where I really want to go. But I had a new neighbor move in, and so instantly my empath stuff, and I started having anxiety and issues, and this is when my ulcer burst out, started hurting. And I didn't know I was treating it for anxiety. But what came the truth of it all, when I went to get the help to clear this up, her Akash was linked to mine. You see, for her to bother me that much, right? I'm at her vibration. All of my past lives with those vibrations came up, and so did all of hers. So I had put up a barrier, selenite, you know what I mean, a crystal grid to separate, but I didn't realize I had to go in and clean her Akash, because to me it's like I'm not asking her permission, but these are all things that were coming up because my light, was like drawing it out of her, and my vibrations too. So I had to go back and heal all those and then heal myself. To me, that was so amazing. There's so many beautiful things that are unimaginable.
Yeah.
I mean, all possibilities, right? Isn't this the field of all possibilities in the
It
Akash?
truly is. It's the field of infinite possibility. My whole body lights up as you tell that story, Teresa, because how the heck otherwise would anybody be able to unravel this stuff? Like a new neighbor moves in close by and your physical body starts to react. How would we ever be able to make these connections without this high level of intuition and this guide called our Akashic Records? I'm just so proud of you. That moved me deeply to hear that you were able to use it in that way. I also just want to mention quickly, because you've got stomach stuff going on. Stomach is where we store worry.
Yes.
Is where we store worry. And Teresa, I'm already kind of getting downloads coming in today for you that this glyph that I'm going to talk about, the most recent glyph that I encountered,
Yes.
I think that you can travel to it, astral travel to it,
Okay.
and lay on that puppy. I'm gonna teach you guys what I've learned about how we activate on the glyphs, and I'm already just starting to get a lot more downloads on how we can astral travel to these places. And I'll give you guys the location of where the glyph was, the most recent one that I found, and invite you astral travel there and use it to heal parts of yourself if you feel that there's.
I can feel that energy already.
Good?
I feel it coming in from my back, though, and so that's where the
That's
healing
because
is.
you already know intuitively. You know how I'm going to tell you how to use it. That's why you feel it in your back, Miss Teresa. All right, so I talked a little with Bex before you popped back in, and Bex shared that she hadn't had a lot of experience with glyphs yet. I just wonder about you. Have you encountered glyphs before in your life? This one?
Not well. Native American stuff. I started out awakening because of my love of Native American petroglyphs, glyphs, the Egyptian things. That's archaeology, and so. The kind of glyphs I would work with, I'm saying, is mostly like the Reiki ones and the ones that I get in light language. Sometimes I get some interesting things I don't know what to do with until I actually go in and work with it.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. You're going to give me a structure that I know I'm going to use throughout.
Yeah, I love that you made that connection, though, because the glyphs can show up in your life in a lot of different ways. I love that you've identified like Reiki symbols and light language, because like I hadn't even actually made that connection yet. I'm thinking more about glyphs in the rocks, right, or the glyphs that we have in the land glyphs. So thank you for that beautiful connection there. It's really powerful.
Here's why. Here's another theory I'm going to tell you, and,
Okay.
and I know poor Bex, everybody. I remember our past lives, like 11,000 to 13,000 years ago, when things were winding down from Atlantis, and we're going from like 5D, 6D down to 3D again. And we went around, me, Bex, and Rhonda, and I remember Janelle there and stuff. We all went around and took things offline and stored things in symbols, in the stones, in sacred places. Some of the sacred places you're going, we went there and switched the energy to be ready for now.
Yes. Ooh, my whole body just lit up in that. Whoa, love it. Well, what I'm really excited to share with you guys today is my experience around glyphs that I found specifically in rocks. And Teresa, you're so right on the money there. We did that from the time of Atlantis and the time of Lemuria. The Lemurian grandmothers knew about 2,000 years before everything was going down that this was going to happen. And so we began preparing. I know, like if your body's lighting up right now, you're probably part of this story. You're probably one of those grandmothers who sat around in the cave with me, Bex, and Rhonda, and Teresa, and Janelle, and all the rest of them, right? And we stored this information in the rocks, and the rocks have been here since the beginning of time. They act as ancient libraries. They store information. And the first glyph that I actually ever ran onto was when I was in Costa Rica in 2019. And I've talked about my trip to Costa Rica many times. This was definitely a gateway time in my life where it felt like my personal life was falling out from underneath me, and it was time for me to really step up in my business and to get just for the sake of providing for my family. It was go time, right? And so I invested in a retreat that took me to Costa Rica, where I was learning a lot about heart-centered business. Costa Rica in and of itself is an incredible vortex. It actually is, I think it has the most biodiversity of anywhere on the planet. So you've just got all this life force energy, right? And we were staying on this incredible property. And we were going down to this a special waterfall on the property to meditate at the waterfall. And the owner of the property, as we were walking back, he goes, there's a glyph here on the property. And I'm like, what? No, I didn't know there's a glyph on this property. I'm like, can we go here? And he's like, sure, I'll take you by that. And I was like, can I do a live video here and tell them? He's like, no. And I felt a little like, ashamed of myself for a second. He's like, no, because if it gets out that this is here, the government's going to come in. They're going to try to and so there sometimes these glyphs, a lot of times I should say, there's not a lot of like fanfare pointing, hey, glyph here, because they're protected. These energies are really protected. And I will let you know that they are everywhere. They're everywhere. So just start keeping your eyes peeled for them. And the reason that you don't have fanfare pointing towards them is because they're very special. They're very secret, but they are everywhere. So start looking, start keeping your eyes peeled for them, right? So he takes me by the glyph, and I said, all right, well, I won't do a live video. Okay, but can I open the Akashic Records of the glyph? And he said, sure. And so I opened the records, and what I got was downloads about how we can start using these glyphs to activate. And basically, Teresa, it's exactly like what you talked about. You lay your body down on the glyph. Sometimes there's an orientation of which way your body needs to be, like how your bodies need to be accessed on. Like I'm talking like north, south, east, west access. Okay. But the glyph will tell you. You just have to be intuitively connected and open and be willing to have that conversation with the glyph. So we stayed there. We both did, like, once that information came in, we both were just like laying on the glyphs and positioning them so that, like, there was one that was carved into a spiral. And that one in particular, we were invited to like put that right at the back, like between the shoulder blades, so that it would move through the heart chakra and begin to open up the heart chakra. So we had this like really cool experience here on this glyph, and we're walking back up to the property, and I happen to say, hey, Ben, where are there other glyphs on the property that you've seen or noticed yet? And he's like, no, not yet. But as the rains come and it begins to like wash away and reveal more of the land, I'm sure we'll find more. Now, the part of the story that I left out was when we were down meditating at the waterfall before we came to the first glyph, I happened to be sitting there on these rocks, and I looked down, and there's a stick sticking up like right between my feet, or shaped like this. Am I doing a good shape? It was a dowsing rod. 100% like great vortex V. It even had a little air plant inside the vortex, so I knew that there was a lot of life force energy pulsing from this thing. And I just asked, like, can I take that? Can I pick it up? And he said, sure. So I'm carrying the dowsing rod with me as we're walking along, talking to Ben about more glyphs, and all of a sudden we just like wander off over to the side of the road, and we look down, like, what's that?
Oh my God.
There was another.
That's awesome.
That we found. Yeah. So again, if you're coming into this conversation, this is how the glyphs are going to begin presenting themselves to you. Like they're going to start revealing themselves and revealing more and revealing more and revealing more. So all of you who are here live right now, and those of you who will be watching the replay, please receive this as your transmission invitation to start finding these areas where this sacred knowledge is kept. You know, it's really so powerful. So that was my first experience with glyphs. And more recently, just was it last weekend? I mean, it's so hard to keep track of time. I went away to North Carolina for a retreat, one-on-one with one of my mentors, who's really been helping me work through some things that feel like just really difficult in my own life, right? Which we all have to do. Like, we all have our stuff that keeps coming up, and I never shy away from diving into it. But I know that even with the Akash and having all of this information, I can't do it all by myself. Like, healing and being able to do the work, like, we need witness. We need to put people in place that we trust to see our blind spots. I have blind spots just like everybody else. It's not really about eliminating blind spots. It's about learning how to put smart people who got your back, who can help you to see your blind spots, right? And so this is what I had done. I was in North Carolina at an incredible retreat center. And we've been going really deep all weekend, doing a lot of work. And this retreat experience was the culmination of 4 months worth of work. And so when I first started this work with my coach, Ashley Dyer, she invited me to like create some visualization and some artwork, not really like a vision board, but to create something that was going to really help me work through the energies as we worked through the 4 months together. And so intuitively I sat down, and what I created was this like big medicine wheel. And each month I would focus on a different part of the medicine wheel as we were going through the medicine wheel, right? And so we're here in North Carolina, and we're at the culmination of this experience, and we're going really deep in and inviting, you know, more medicine coming forward and more knowledge. And we'd had an incredible sacred experience. This was Saturday night, and Sunday was our day for integration. So we had decided to go to a specific waterfall and a couple other locations to really like be in the frequencies of nature to integrate. And I'm so happy. This is fun coming on the heels of Ruben last week, because, you know, Ruben's got a lot of really powerful CE5 knowledge when it comes to close encounters of the fifth kind, which means we're actually calling in that connection with our ancient ancestors and interdimensional beings. And so I asked Ashley before we headed off to our hike, I said, what do you think about doing a little CE5 and just like calling in our friends? And said, now, I'm not going to go so far to say that this means we're going to meet an alien in the woods, right? It's not always about having like a visceral physical experience with these beings, but they tend to alter the field or to show up in our frequency in a lot of different ways. And I've experienced them showing up through, like, I can feel a temperature change, or I'll feel like an emotional shift within myself. Sometimes, I think I shared before on one of your shows, where the smell of ozone, right? And so sometimes there's a smell associated, but your subtle senses is what will really show you where the extraterrestrials or extra dimensionals are coming in. So I just was sharing this with Ashley, and just like, okay, so we'll just be aware as we're going through our day and our process. And we get to we were in the Joyce Kilmer Forest, I believe, and we had hiked up to this waterfall, and we had spent about an hour in the waterfall, and we'd been meditating and just like really cleansing ourselves and feeling really good. And then it got to the point where it was like, okay, are we going to stay, or are we ready to move on to the next location? And Ashley said, you know, I kind of want to stay and just do a little more vision work and really like meditate and like send our vision out into the field. So I'm like, all right, cool. And I look around and I see this big rock that's like a big platform, that perfect sized for both of us to sit there together, for us to set our packs down, because we were hiking packs. But there was a little work that we needed to do to climb out to it. So we started the process of climbing out to this big rock where there's, like I said, overlooking the waterfall, and there's lots of space for us. And we sit down and we start meditating. And we had probably been sitting there meditating for at least 20 minutes when I look down and I'm like,
Oh my gosh.
it's like right there, right
Wow.
there. And the glyph was the medicine wheel. It was the same medicine wheel as I had started this whole process of my journey into medicine. And I was like, holy cow, look, it's right there. It's right there. And so I began to tune in to how to use this glyph. And I felt like that was like that extraterrestrial sign. That was the CE5 contact that we had been calling in of just, awareness and support of all of the extra dimensional beings that are really here to work with us. And so I said, all right, let me figure out like how we use this thing, right? And what we were both invited to do was just to sit, like root chakra, butt, sit bones, right on that medicine wheel, and understanding that that was allowing us to call up and to project our medicine, what we're here to leave the planet with, into the field. And so we both just took turns. We went deep into meditation, sitting there, and you can feel like the energy start to move up within the body. Like the way I was sitting on it, I really felt the Kundalini energy starting to move and flow. And so with this particular glyph, this medicine wheel glyph, it's not only about how we can be healed ourselves, but it's about the medicine that we're here to leave for the rest of the planet. And so that's how we began using this glyph, was actually like positioning our bodies on it and then working with the energy, the intuitive energy of the glyph to create an experience, for ourselves. And doing that, like, it feels like, oh, maybe I'm just making this up in the moment of what I'm supposed to do. But really, guys, this is the same work that our ancient ancestors did, that the ancient masters did, this mystical kind of work. This is what it looks like. And there can be a bit of a gap when it comes to the epic story of, like, we hear like of the ancient masters and how they did the work here on the planet. And it can feel somewhat mundane when you're stumbling across a rock and there's a carving in the rock. I guess I'm supposed to sit on it and blast my energy out. But this is what it looks like. So we sat there, we did that powerful meditation, and then just, gently packed up our stuff and headed on to the next spot. And I'm still beginning to see the unfolding of what happens and what is happening after that experience. Because I say, like, 90% of whatever it is that we're experiencing from an activation, from an Akashic record reading, from a glyph activation, happens after the fact. Yeah. So it's very important to begin to have awareness of what happens afterwards. So this was just a week ago for me. And what I'm doing now is holding just like a vigilant awareness of beginning to see, one, how I am still healing myself, how the medicine that's working through me to heal me is rearranging time, space, matter. It's rearranging my thoughts. It's rearranging my emotions. This stuff can make you very tired, by the way. If you go do glyph activate, and everybody has different experiences. Some people get really charged with energy. I got really charged with energy while I was there, but I'm finding the aftermath, there's so much rearranging of time, space, reality that happens within our thoughts, our emotions, and our physical body, that I needed just so much more rest this week after coming back from that experience. And let's see, what else do I want to tell you guys about the glyphs? And then you guys can get in and ask some questions. And any questions that you guys have out there in the audience today too, feel free to let them rip. I'm excited to break these things down for you. Okay, so the location, that's what's really coming in right now, is like, talk specifically about the location. Pardon me for 1 second. I want to grab, because I want to be super specific about the location, I want to grab it in my, the Joyce Kilmer Memorial Forest. Okay. All right. So anybody who wants to experience this glyph, I don't know, do we have a picture of it? Maybe I can go grab a picture of it really quickly and pop it into the comments there so everybody can see exactly what it is. Okay, so we were in the, can you see that? The Joyce Kilmer Memorial Forest. And this, what's so amazing about this forest is that the original trees that were there have not been cut down. So the
Oh my
pristine
gosh.
energy that's held in this forest, like if you go into an astral travel activation and you come into this space, you're going to get some really, really incredible just return and remembrance of very, very pristine energy. So I invite you guys, anybody who feels like they want to go experience, you definitely should. So imagine, you see that there's a nice big trees there. I'll just say, imagine walking through those trees up maybe about a quarter of a mile. It's not too far. Up a hike up to a waterfall, and then just in your mind, like find that path out to a rock that overlooks the waterfall, and find that glyph there, and have your own experience going in and activating on that glyph there in Joyce Kilmer Memorial Forest. Yeah, Teresa, for you, I would really encourage you to like lay down on it, like you said, and have it going in through the back body, through the belly there, of
Okay, so my
where,
question,
yeah.
when you're sitting on it most naturally, most comfortably and naturally, which direction are you facing?
We faced the waterfall on this one.
So is that north
I'm not
or
exactly sure what
west?
direction it was, because they specifically said face the waterfall, because what they were
Okay, so
showing
it's
us
the
was that,
waterfall.
yeah, we were sending the energy, because water has the ability to take on consciousness, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like we were programming the water. Water and rivers we can look at as the veins of Mother Earth, the blood pulsing through the planet. And so anytime that we do activation around water, rivers, we know from Masaru Emoto's
Emoto.
work,
Yeah.
right, how programmable water is. And I believe that it's our responsibility to understand and to work with the waters like this, reprogramming the waters. So they had us directly like sending our medicine into the water so that it would begin to like populate through the earth. The other times that I've used glyphs and I've used activation on rocks before, generally they have me facing east, but it's not always facing east. It just depends on um, what the glyph tells you. Now, or can you find glyphs using a dowsing rod? I did, and I'm not exactly sure how I did it, because I don't use dowsing rods as an area of expertise, as an area of genius. I just use it intuitively. I'm holding the thing and I'm asking about where the glyphs are, and then all of a sudden I wander onto one. So it was more of an intuitive thing rather than holding the medicine rod and saying, okay, show me where the glyph is, and like feeling which way it would pull me. For me, it was much more just an intuitive expression of just like childlike following the energy. But I would say for those of you who do have expertise using dowsing rods or using medicine rods like that, feel like use them. Yes, let them guide you to these
A
different connection
pendulum
points. Yeah.
would help. Yeah.
I also think that there doesn't necessarily have to be a glyph on the rock for you to use that rock to remember the ancient wisdom. The first thing that I'll say is play along with the story. Like if there is a rock that you're drawn to, or you have found a glyph on a rock, go ahead and assume that you left it there for yourself. Maybe, maybe your ancient Lemurian self left it. Maybe you're an extraterrestrial version of yourself that's expressing in a different dimension left it for you. But I've also had experience with rocks that look like a big throne, right? There are two rocks on a hike that I go on regularly here in Reno that activate the heck out of me. And there are no glyphs at all on these rocks, but I began to I noticed them because of their shape, and I'm like, oh, that looks like a queen's throne. Better go sit on that one, right? And so begin to develop this relationship with the living libraries of the rocks that are around you, because there are so many different ways that we can use them to activate.
I love that. I remember from Cryon teaching that up in the human collective mind, the human collective consciousness,
Mm-hmm.
whatever decisions go on, that then programs the crystalline grid to bring up
Yeah.
what's needed. For a long time, it was set on a certain wherever huge emotional things happened, whether there are celebrations or massacres, but now it's switching and it's letting us get back to the celebrations, the good feelings, and connecting us in, like you said, to our ancestors from Earth all the way up to the stars,
Yeah.
connecting into the crystalline grid.
Yes. The guides are actually wanting to bring awareness right now for everybody so that you can, so you got this one that you can go astral travel to. The guides are saying that there's a rock for each of you somewhere close to where you are. Maybe there's a hike that you go on. Maybe there's a walk that you go on. Maybe there's just like some kind of a rock or something in your front yard. But literally, like every person here right now, the guides are saying, let that come into awareness in your mind. Right? Like there's one specific right now that is reaching out to speak with you.
That's exciting. That's very exciting.
Do you feel like there's a particular rock that's popping into your awareness? You're like, oh, okay, maybe that's mine.
I mean, there's a rock
Feeling
that's
the
like,
water, yeah.
yeah, there's a rock like across the way that like people seem to be drawn to, but that's always like where I take my kids to do their pictures outside. It's really funny. It's like a big rock.
Nice. So
It carries the love.
yeah, Bex, you might want to try, placing your hands on it. Downloading. I mean, sometimes I do two hands and like a third eye, lean in on the rock. But the super exciting part of this conversation is that as we bring awareness to this, like the rocks, this is the living library of the Akash here on the planet. And when you know this, you can begin to play and to tap into these energies. I think that what my guides showed me is like back in the time of ancient Atlantis, the records existed physically here on the planet in a way, I believe, in crystalline form. And I kind of think that it might have been a little like virtual reality. You could just like plug in and see an experience. It's not an impression. Like now when Teresa does her work or Bex does her work, we're getting impressions from the Akash that are coming in through our intuitive senses because we've spent time honing those abilities. And so we know how to work with our intuitive senses. But the intuitive senses are impressions, right? I believe that these and the awareness of understanding that we can come to this physical location, this is like the Akashic Records physically returning to the planet. And they're returning through our awareness of them being here.
Oh,
So
how exciting.
Right? It's an exciting conversation for us all to begin to know this and to begin to play and to discover what's out there for us.
So while you were talking, I went and tried to download your video that you sent us in the messenger of the glyph. I think I might be able to do this. So bear with me.
Yay, Bex.
I'm going to share screen and see if I can make this happen. Okay, we're going to share screen. So let me do that. Okay, share.
I remember you did this before. You were a success.
I know. Okay, so screen is sharing.
I see the
And
screen.
where did it go? There it is. Let's see.
Ooh, yes.
Okay, yeah. Now,
Okay.
yeah. How about I zoom in on it? Oh yeah, I'm a good filmmaker. I zoom right in on that puppy. There, see that?
There it is.
Medicine wheel. Yeah.
There you go. We got it on there. Did that work well?
Yes. Totally worked. Totally worked.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. There's so much information there. It came in blocks.
Mm.
I can't separate them yet, but it's so cool.
It was beautiful.
I
There you
love
go.
that.
Teresa, T-Dubs, I don't want to put you on the spot, but you're so good at this. Do you feel like you can intuit an activation for us from that thing?
Okay, hang on. I'm feeling it. It's the funniest things. I have to feel these things through my nose first, and when my nose starts
Oh my gosh, that is
clicking,
the funniest thing ever. Well, okay, tell me more about that. What do you mean you feel it through your nose?
anytime there's activations and things going on, back here in the nasals, there's pop and snap. And when it does, I feel like more come in, more information. So it's like I've come to enjoy it. It's like, oh, I'm popping. Something good's coming in.
That's like a
All right.
frequency change or pressure change.
I
Yeah.
got a meditation then. You guys want to do it?
Let's do it.
Okay.
This is one of your areas of expertise and genius. I know we were just talking about before how you've got this new amazing offering that you're doing that includes part of this. So thank you for playing with us here today and bringing your genius to like the puzzle pieces. Like I said, we all have puzzle pieces, right?
And I'm going to bring in the dragons.
Okay.
Where are they? I have to. This is where we're going. Okay, there's some really neat things. The first thing, as we're relaxing here and feeling all of our energies come in together, already I want to tell you, I'm feeling a drum beating like a heartbeat. Boom, 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 boom. I want you to feel this heartbeat as you breathe in slowly, 5 seconds, like, and then you release it. But all the while, you're listening to this heartbeat that's leading you, and it's leading you. And as your awareness begins to see, you see yourself on a beautiful trail with trees all around, the birds. You feel the sun coming down through some of the leaves, warming you up. There's a breeze bringing you smells of pine, smells of, what is that? Does echinacea have a smell? Because there's smells of flowers, whatever they are in your area. And sage is coming in. And you're walking along, and really we're within the sacred spot within your heart, and you still hear that heartbeat leading you, boom, boom, down this trail, boom, boom. Everything gets a little bit more sparkly, and you begin to have an awareness of a forest dragon ahead of you on the trail, leading you to which way to go. Each of us are being led to our own rocks that are calling to us, our stones, our beautiful glyphs. And so follow your dragon ahead of you until it begins circling your spot. I want you to touch this rock. And as you touch this with both of your hands, you're already going to feel the energy going up your arms and into your heart and spreading through your body. And you climb up to sit on it or to lay on it wherever you are, and immediately you feel your energy being grounded down into the earth star chakra. You feel your roots spreading into the love of Mother Earth, which comes and nourishes you from every angle up through your roots and right through the glyph on this rock. And your energies begin soaring all the way up your chakras until you hit the soul star chakra, and that opens wide, allowing all your petals from your crown chakra to go to all the places it needs to and connect in with the energies. That energy comes right back down into your heart. You're still hearing that drum beat. And I want you to notice your personal glyph now as you're sitting by it and you're getting activated by it. Notice the details of your glyph, because it was not put there all in one time. For one time, there was the hole in the center that was made first. This was made by someone in your star family, maybe even yourself, but someone who knew that point would help you to draw in and focus on the ancient wisdom that's there in your heart. So this is what it represents. Now, the circle around came later. They came in Native American times, or indigenous times, I'd rather call them. And the energies there were so connected to all that is, connected to the earth, all the energies, the elves, the unicorns. I mean, there's so many energies that were just a part of the daily life and moving about. Feel those energies all being centered upon that one hole in the center and circling around, just like you within your heart, and then circling around you. Feel what energy is being drawn into you right now. What is the healing that's activating you? I feel like things are clicking in you, and you are beginning to open up to ideas that you've pushed aside that you're ready to bring forward. This is your wisdom to bring forward. So go ahead and do so. Allow the healing. Allow this activation to spread from your heart to your master cell, to every cell in your body where now your innate helps you manage and use these energies where you need. And now I want you to begin feeling a downpouring of so much love, golden wisdom, and love mixed together. That's that rose and golden color. And it's all coming down our crown and flushing all of our energies back into the rock, back into Mother Earth. And know that you can always come back here when you need to. And you may hear either the heartbeat or maybe your personal soul song calling you back to this space. Allow yourself to go whenever you need. So let's return to our breathing. Let's store all this energy in our cells. Allow this activation to spread in you, through you, and around you. And when you're ready, open your eyes. And we will learn more from Emily.
That heartbeat that you talked about, that's very, very synchronous for me. Because last night I went into, there's a healing spa here close to me where they have the infrared sauna that you can sit in, like that baby up to 150 degrees, and it's like a sweat lodge. And I love sweat lodges, like the ancient, the indigenous medicine of the sweat lodge. Oh, I love that. And then there's also float tanks. So I did like fire and water. I went and like did the sweat for 45 minutes and then did an hour in the float tank. But when I was in the sweat sauna, it's really a sauna. It's not really a sweat lodge, but for me, it feels like sweat medicine. So I call it sweat because you're definitely sweating. There was some intuitive breath work that was coming up. And so I was doing breath and movement in there, and you feel like you come up against your edge, like, okay, I'm done. I'm about to pass out. No, stay longer. Like grandfather said, sit your ass down and stay longer. I'm like, okay. And I could feel this pulsing, and it was weird. It's like I feel like my heart is here, but right here, like at where the vortex of my ribs come together, it was
your middle dantian.
It was about pulsing out of my chest so hard. And I put my hand there, and it was just like, felt like this powerful drum beat. And you took me back to that moment when you did that. It was just really, really synchronous for me, because I never had an experience quite as profound as I did last night of feeling my own inner drum beat.
How cool is that?
So yeah, you were really, really picking up on some powerful energy there, my friend. Thank you for that.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it was great to feel it coming through. So thank you. It was way
Yeah.
cool. Who knew? Just learning the Akashic Records from you, Emily, has brought on so many beautiful experiences. I'm just so excited.
How was that for you, Bex?
That was amazing. Like I was seeing, but the glyph that I actually saw was like, and it's funny because the spiral has been kind of like in my energy field. So it was a spiral, but it had rays coming out of it in every direction. So it's just a very expansive energy. And in the space of it, I just felt like I had to put both my hands on it like this, and I could see golden and purple swirls coming up through my body and moving through my energy field, and just like all this energy moving. And it was just really beautiful, just very connected, feeling just so at peace, but so alive. That's the only way I could explain it. It's just beautiful.
Wow.
I was also getting, in the beginning, before we actually went into the activation, a reminder to invite each one of you, if you feel connected to like the glyphs at Nazca, the Nazca lines, gigantic glyphs.
Yeah.
Go travel and project yourself, over these glyphs and play with activating in the places where we know that there are glyphs and energies, sacred energies here on the planet. Like go to Egypt, where we know that there are so many glyphs and so much knowledge left for us. And just like imagine being up against those temple walls and touching and laying your head on it. I feel like it's incredibly important. And the guides are just like bringing a lot of awareness to that right now. Oh, they're also saying that as we do this, we're going to reactivate those energies that are available
Yes.
there.
Exactly.
Good stuff.
I think that's been such an important part of the past year is learning how to travel without physically traveling, right? You know, that's something that we've really been able to anchor in because we're not meant to sit in one place.
Yeah.
So, you know, we still travel. It doesn't matter. They could tell us we can't, and we're still going to go. So, you know, being able to really embrace that. It's
let's read. Look at what Josephine.
Oh yeah, she's on Ankh.
Yeah.
I saw an Ankh too.
How neat.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
always
awesome.
working with Ankhs too. Do you know there's a breath work that I do with an Ankh? I learned this from Elizabeth April, but it's 4 breaths. So like from the earth and all the energies, that we love, you inhale and bring it in, and it stores in your groin, probably the sacral chakra or root chakra, but that whole area, and it stores there. Now, on your exhale, you blow it right out, right through your soul star. Now it's getting mixed with all the God energy, the Christ energy all around, and it's going all around. And then you inhale right into your heart. It's going all over in your heart. And then you send it down again back into Mother Earth, and you can see her glowing with the energy. And you keep doing this. And
That's amazing. Who did that come from? That breath work?
yeah, this came from Elizabeth April, and there's a little more to
Very
it.
cool.
I could explain to
Yeah, we
you
love her.
later. In fact, there's different situations where you can use that breath work from to enhance different things. And so since I've learned it, Ma has called me, and Isis actually even more so, to use that a lot. And so part of my morning thing.
Now
So
I'm
you noticed that.
I'm guessing Elizabeth April intuited that or downloaded that breath work. That right?
Yeah.
There was breath work that was being intuited in the sweat last night. That came into my awareness, and you ladies know because you've been through my class, Learn to Read the Records. There's the reset breath that came in. Anytime that we're gonna you want to reset an old pattern of thinking and you want to replace it with something new, just very simply like calling up the energy of what was old, what you're replacing with. Get a deep breath in and just like gently holding it at the top. So I'm going to encourage you guys, play with your own, finding your own medicine, right? Breath work is medicine. Some of the most potent medicine that we have is breath work, because breath is that's the substance, the bridge from physical to spirit matter, right? And so play with it. Like step into your role as an intuitive healer and start playing with yourself.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, that's sort of what the Ankh thing had to do with, by the way.
That reminds me of when we were learning to read the Akashic Records, and our dear friend Brian Cable intuited Ankh breathing. Remember that?
That's
He
right.
pulled up the left side and then put it down the right side. And we were very in tune with the Ankh when we were learning that.
Mm-hmm. Yep, very
brother.
powerful stuff.
Good brother there. Yeah. I love that. How exciting.
So cool. Oh, thank you so much. This has been awesome. Even though we had a delayed start, a bumpy, it's so perfect. So perfect in how it unfolded.
It is so
much
good
fun.
to be able to just spend time with you ladies, Sunday morning with you and your audience. And I love to see how your audience is growing and your impact is expanding here on the planet. And it'd be my intention that this glyph activation that we've done here today just continues to expand the work that you're doing and expand your reach. Couldn't be more proud of the 3 of you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We appreciate you so much. Thank you for being our catalyst.
Yes.
If it wasn't for you, you're a catalyst. So we appreciate you.
Actually, thank you for putting up with this through all the ages, because you haven't only put up with this lifetime.
That's true.
There's been so many others I remember with you and the different things, and you would come in and show us exactly how to organize and move on. There's even time with Mary Magdalene in France and stuff. There's so many times. And so thank you for all the times you put up with this.
I'll keep doing it forever and ever and ever.
That's because that's just crazy, but we love it. That's a long time. But we have 3 big questions for you now.
Okay.
3 major questions. Okay, so the first one is if you had to choose a song to be the theme song of your life, what would it be?
I always go with the one, and I told Rhonda, I think it's the one that's on my loop. U2, It's a Beautiful Day.
It's a great song. I used to wake up to that song. That would be my alarm.
I have a thing for Bono, I gotta say. One of the first concerts that I ever went to was a U2 concert back in St. Louis. And I was 16. Actually, the first concert I ever went to was an Amy Grant concert.
Oh my God.
And I'm lucky at concerts, you guys. I won backstage passes to go meet Amy. I put my name in a drawing. And so that was my first experience with a concert. My second concert was U2. And I was 16 and I couldn't really afford good seats. So we had like the worst nosebleed seats ever. And my parents made me use my own money to pay for it. So didn't really have enough for the bougie seats at that point. And literally it was at Busch Stadium, which was the old baseball stadium. The very, very, very top of the stadium. Like I couldn't have seen Bono with binoculars. But we got there super early and there was a man dressed all in black. He said, I'm with the band's personal security guard. These tickets get scalped a lot because they're bad. So if you want to exchange your tickets for front row seats, I'll take you down and let you sit front row.
Oh,
so I got really close and he sweated all over me.
Oh, yes. Oh, wow. My God. I love that. I've done that, but not with Bono. Yeah. How cool is that?
That's awesome.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, okay, so that's my favorite one.
Okay, next question is, what is your favorite crystal that you're working with right now?
Well, I have this.
Oh,
yes. That's beautiful.
Oh, look at that.
And it's got, like, let me see if I can tip it the right way. Can you see the etching? Like, talk about glyphs. Actually,
yeah, wow.
Talk about glyphs. It's got the sacred geometry of the planetary alignment.
That's incredible.
How cool is that? What do you use it for?
Well, right now, it's sitting here with, okay, so I intuited this too. I didn't really realize this incredible setup that I have. But can you see, I'm going to adjust my screen just a little bit here. So you can see I've got Nefertiti there, right? Yes. I was able to show that to Teresa before we got on. I don't know if I can get close enough now, but she's got red lips like mine.
Oh, okay.
So you know. Okay, so I have Nefertiti sitting here with the selenite. If I tip up just a little bit, you can see there's also a triangle up here.
Oh, yeah. And
normally, like, I'm sitting a little bit askew right now, so I'm not sitting like directly straight at my desk. But normally, when I'm sitting here, I'm sitting so I'm anchored like right. And see, I didn't do that, so because then you see my board over there. That's my business organization board. Like Miss Teresa said, I come in and organize everything.
Yeah.
So for those of you with mission-based businesses, like I'll organize your business for you now.
Yeah.
That's why my screen's a little bit tilted. But normally, like, I'm sitting here, and so I'm positioned right like this. So Nefertiti's at my back with that selenite crystal and the triangle, the pyramid up here.
Yeah.
But then I started realizing a couple more really cool pieces, and that is this desk back here has a mirrored surface, so it's reflecting up and down, and then directly across the way there, I have a big standing mirror. So all of this energy is getting
ricocheting
back and forth.
Yeah.
And I didn't even realize that, again, that I had set up this kind of a vortex in my office. It was completely intuitive. And then the guides revealed it to me, and I'm like, holy crap.
That's cool.
What is your pyramid made out of?
It's made out of quartz crystal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So sometimes this is the one I use when I say the records. I know.
Oh.
Yep.
Ooh,
that's beautiful.
Each different point on it has a different sound, a different tone that comes out.
Really?
That's very cool.
I work with the copper pyramid, and I've found that when you put it to the cardinal, north, south, east, west, and if you put it over the rocks will be refreshed and alive. Even my lamp, my Himalayan pink salt lamp, and I put it on house plants and have brought new growth to them and excitement. And it's just like, man, this is a miracle. I need 1 million of these. Put them everywhere in my house,
I love how you talk about setting things up on the cardinal points too, because I'm facing east here in my space.
Oh, hi, you're facing us.
I'm
facing west right now.
That's awesome.
Okay, question 3.
Okay, before we get to that, it's funny
Right.
that you say that that's Nefertiti, because since you started showing up with that, it's very extra dimensional to me. It looks like an ET. It
Yeah.
does,
Oh.
and very much like it. The serenity in the face
Yeah.
has been so heartfelt. Like when I see it, it just makes it's like I can't even. There's a heart connection to that. And so you say it's Nefertiti, and I'm just like, huh? It's what? Like that's not how I was feeling it at all. I was just feeling very extra dimensional.
Well, I feel like it's Nefertiti as an Arcturian. This artist,
Yeah.
Okay,
this was an artist representation, and when I first
that's powerful.
I did too. I said that's Nefertiti, but that's in that she's definitely in an extraterrestrial form.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just something so like it's such a heart-centered drawing. Like it just feels very welcoming, very loving, very maternal. It's just beautiful. So I just had to say, because it's like every time I see it in the background, I can't help but stare at it.
Oh,
Every time it just draws me in.
good. I love that. She's very special to me.
Yeah, beautiful. So that being said, of course, the next question is, have you ever experienced extra dimensional intelligence?
Oh, hell yes.
Right?
Yes, and one of the things that is really alive in my field is to start bringing this more and more into like our everyday reality and experience. Like, and that's why I talked about like it can feel very like epic story of the ascended masters and the glyph and like extraterrestrials coming in, and there can be a gap between how normal we feel and how weird and unnormal that feels, and I want to start making it much more normal. Pretty much every time I go to Shasta now, there is an actual sighting. We went to Shasta last year, the trip that Rhonda got to come on, and Rhonda's really, really connected with the extraterrestrial beings, and I think she held a lot of grounding energy for us there, because we were like out literally talking to him, flash red, Ned, flash red, ah! You hear like all this, flash green, they flash. So I had that experience the last time I was in Shasta when I was leading the retreat there, but I've been back a couple of times myself since that last retreat. And let's see, when I was there with Bill and Ruben, when we were filming the documentary, the Skull Squad documentary in April, that's when like I physically saw about 200 ships flying in formation and drop into the mountain. Have I not told you that story?
No.
Holy crap.
Imagine
Okay.
this.
Can I tell it really fast? I'll tell
Yes.
it in 2 minutes fast. Okay. So the lenticular clouds are cloud formations that form. They actually form here in Reno too, where I am, but generally we associate them with Shasta. And they basically look like saucers, like UFO saucers or pancakes, like pancakes stacked on top of each other. And yes, there is scientific reasoning why this happens. And I'm here to tell you, they're the extraterrestrials trying to get your attention when you see the lenticular cloud. So I wake up, and the place that I'm staying in, it's called the Venusian, this incredible Airbnb that faces the mountain, that also has a jacuzzi spa with skylights where you can literally like UFO watch from the jacuzzi tub. This is the place that we reserve for the clients that are working with me for the whole year that travel with me into Shasta. We put them all up bougie style in this house, but I was testing it out first. So I was staying at this place, and every morning when I wake up, there's like the huge view of the mountain there, and so I wake up one morning and I see the lenticular cloud. So I'm like, all right, I'll keep an eye on you, and I'm watching this cloud for an hour and a half. It doesn't move. It's changing shape, but it's not moving in the sky, right? And it's flashing all of these pastel colors, like it is showing off for me. I'm like, I see you. Okay, I'll keep watching. And I'm watching. This particular morning I had off from filming, so I was just puttering, like I say. My mom I like to putter around in the morning, have my coffee for 2 hours. So I'm sitting there watching, and I go to fill up my coffee, and I get the ping from them. They say, get your camera. And I'm like, I don't know it's them. I think it's me, because a lot of times the pings sound like yourself, right? And I tell myself, yeah, I've been filming the whole time I'm here. I just want to sit and relax, like not getting it. So I leave my phone behind, and I carry my coffee back in. When I look up and I see what looks like a swarm of bees coming in. Now, granted, the mountain's 200 probably miles away, like from where I am to like up where I'm seeing this come in. I think it's bees. I'm like, oh, that's funny. I haven't seen a swarm of bees like that since the bee movie. And I'm like, wait a second. The perspective, those are not bees.
Right.
So I'm like, oh, they must be birds. No, Emily, those are not birds either. And that's when I start looking, and they're coming in, their information. They look like the Star Wars ships, right? Just like the black ships with like the two little wings on the side, and they're very simple looking. And my heart starts pounding like crazy. Because, one of the things that we need to bridge the gap of as humans is letting go of the fear of having that experience. And so like my heart's pounding. I'm like, oh my God, am I seeing what I think I'm seeing? Because it's broad daylight. And I'm like, are they coming for me next? Holy shit. Like, am I going to make it out of here? And then I'm like, oh, I should have got my camera. Am I seeing what I think I'm seeing? Like the whole thing is going through my mind. And then they come in, they come in formation, and then they line up vertically and drop boom, 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 one at a time into the mountain. And I'm just like, it's incredibly stunned. So that was a very physical sighting that I had. That same trip when I was sitting in that jacuzzi that I was telling you about, I'm sitting there, my phone, the screen's black, right? And I had my phone out because I was doing Star Trek. I got Star Tracker. So I'm like looking at the different stars, and okay, the screen's black like it is there. All of a sudden, this little light flies across. I'm like, hang on. And then two of them start flying across, and I'm like, what? I couldn't even and I'm trying to screen record, and I can't screen record. So I started taking some screenshots, and I actually have screenshots of this one, and I showed it to many people there in Shasta who are familiar with the different kind of beings and stuff that come in, because I thought it might be from the fairy realm that was coming in. And they said, no, that's a completely different dimension that we haven't seen before, but I can probably pull a couple of them up in.
Were those the pictures you showed me? You showed me pictures of like small orbs in the room?
Yeah, they're not exactly orbs.
Yeah.
They're more like geometrical shapes.
Wow.
But I think so. I think I did show those to you. And so I had that experience. I had an experience with Sasquatch last time I was there.
Yay.
So yeah, I'm all about like bring on the extraterrestrial experience.
That's awesome.
The family. Bring on the family. We're ready
Right?
to join.
Come on back, family. We're getting ready for you. We're learning. Okay, so yeah, let's see. I don't know. Let's see if we can get it.
Yeah, I see lights.
I'm sorry. 1 second. My phone case is just so darn filthy. I didn't get the phone out. Hang on, because you'll be able to see it like that. Okay.
See if I can get you on the big screen so you can see it better. There we
Yeah,
go.
my kids totally give me a hard time about my terrible phone case. Like I got this beautiful phone, but a ridiculous, ugly case. Okay, so I'll zoom in a little bit there so you can.
Oh, wow.
I'll go to a couple more. Let's see.
Nice. Yeah. Wow.
The light's coming through. And I actually, here's one where there's two, which is really cool. And you can kind of see, you see that portal shape or that geometrical, it looks like a doorway.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
That
does.
is amazing.
Yeah.
It looks like Orion behind there too, though.
It looks like a what behind there?
Orion.
Oh.
And so maybe that's a doorway.
Could be. But yeah, I just am loving the fact that there's more and more of this coming into my field so that I can begin to facilitate these kind of experiences. Because like I said, Teresa was leading one of those meditations one time when I saw the Akashic Academy headquarters, physical location and they, interesting, just now putting these pieces together, we were talking about rock formations. There's a certain name for like the monoliths where it's just like two rocks and then one stacked over here that you can go into and have meditational experiences. But I began to see those physically on the land, and those being the doorways where we regularly expect our interdimensional friends to show up and support us.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
Because remembering that we're a part of nature and our connection to not just the earth, but to our family beyond. That's our next key.
I love it. It's very exciting. It's fun to play with too, you know. So much fun to play with. Thank you for bringing this to our awareness. This was awesome. Awesome stuff.
Yeah, thank you for letting me hang out with you guys so long. You guys, the audience is hung in so well. We've gone long today in here telling stories. So I thank you all for your attention and creating this sacred space. And again, this, just to remind you, it's not just a conversation that you're sitting in on. Everything is synchronous in your life. So everything that we've talked about today, for those of you who are watching live or on the replay, begin to expect these things to show up in your world too. There's no coincidence that you were called in to share this time with us today.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there'll be validation for sure.
Yeah.
And if people want to find, if they want more Emily because they haven't had enough, how do they find you?
So just shoot me a private message. That's my favorite way. I like to just, cut the shit and build personal relationships with people. And if you would like to, if you're a little more on the peripheral, because a lot of people like maybe feel a little intimidated or maybe feel like they're not ready to fully reach out, or maybe just like feel a little silly doing that, which I understand. I've felt that before too, but just let me personally invite you into my space. But if you are a little more peripheral and you want to check things out, go to the AkashicAcademy.com. We've got lots of great freebies there for you, things to support your growth, different free classes and free downloads that you can take. So either one of those, whichever you feel more comfortable, you either come knocking on my door or you can check out the email or check out the website.
Awesome. And your Facebook page as well, right?
Yep, find me.
Yeah.
Yep, I've got a great
Akashic Academy with Emily Harrison is also, we didn't get the links up because we were trying to get it. So it was in the first one.
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
completely.
we're going to have the links up. So if you want to put those in the comments after, just put, any place that they can get a hold of you. That would be awesome.
Yes.
And I think
do so. If your
Yes.
heart tells you, don't question it, go for it, because it's going to open up everything you've dreamed about.
Yeah,
it will change your life. Absolutely.
And we actually have 2 spots available on the next Mount Shasta adventure, which is it's coming up quickly. So it's and again, not an experience that's right for everyone. You got to be ready to move since it's coming up so quickly. But this will be an incredibly life-changing experience. We're going to be on the mountain on the 8th of August, which is Lionsgate. That morning, I'll be taking you all into the secret pyramid on Shasta. Not a lot of people know that there's a secret pyramid on Mount Shasta that is an exact replica of Giza. And we'll be going in for activation. I was in there before getting activated by Isis. I was in there by myself. And I was laying down, right, flat on my back. And she gave me this cranial adjustment right here. It was like a whack on the head. And my whole body like shot up in boat pose. It was pretty incredible. So we're going to have activation in the pyramid and then go into the sacred vortexes, the sacred different places on the mountain for activation. We've got the Mitchell Hedges crystal skull, which is known as the most mysterious piece of quantum technology on the planet. They're in person. Everybody gets one-on-one readings and time to sit with the skull in person while you're there. So it's an incredibly life-changing experience, but it's intense. It's an intense life changer, and it's coming up quickly. So, if you're feeling called and you're ready to move, we got a spot for you.
I love it.
Yeah.
And if you need an introduction to the crystal, we have them on next Sunday. So excited. We get to hang out with the crystal and with Will. Oh, God, I can't. Bill. I was going to say William. Bill, who is it? Human?
Well, his name is William.
It is William.
Yeah, right.
But Bill. Yeah. Bill Holman. I thought you had Bill on already. Is he coming back?
He's coming back, and he's bringing
more stories.
He's also bringing Carol, who channels the crystal. She's going to be on with him. And Stephanie, his assistant. Assistant person. She'll be on too. So we're going to have like a crystal skull party next Sunday, which is going to be so much fun. I can't wait to see what messages come through.
Everybody should bring their crystals because, you can activate your crystals from other crystals.
Yes.
So that would be fun. If everybody next week, bring your crystals.
Yeah.
Yep. And if that blows you away and you want to sit in person, you want to have an in-person experience, a week on the mountain with me and Bill on the skull and some very powerful visionaries, there's opportunity for you.
Yeah. That would be an amazing experience. Absolutely amazing. Oh, thank you so much. And we'll announce the winner next week because we don't have it with us right now because of all the technical issues. But we appreciate you all for being here. And please share out this week. Whoever shares out the most this week will win with Teresa. We'll announce that next week, and we'll also announce last week's winner. So we love you guys very much. Have a beautiful, beautiful week, and we will see you next Sunday. And thank you, Emily. We love you.
I love you guys.
Love
Thank
you.
you all.
Yes, yes. Namaste.